General Hospital spoilers. Dante is not Joe's father, shocking bio dad revealed. It began innocently enough, a routine medical procedure at GH. Gio Paloma Falconeri, now an adult and pursuing a career in law enforcement under his uncle Dante's guidance, suffered a minor injury during a training accident. While being treated, the doctors noted a rare blood protein, one that didn't align with Dante Falconeri's blood type. At first, no one questioned it. Blood type mismatches weren't uncommon in distant relations, right? But then came a more urgent problem. Gio was flagged as a potential match for a young leukemia patient in need of a stem cell donor. To confirm the match, genetic testing was ordered for Gio, and that's when everything began to unravel. The results were clear. Dante Falconeri was not Joe's biological father. Stunned, Dante stared at the report. There must be a mistake. But there wasn't. Dante confronted his mother, Olivia Quartermain, with the DNA results. At first, Olivia denied it. "You're his father, Dante. You raised him. You were there from the start." But Dante pushed harder, more hurt than angry. "Ma, I need the truth. For Gio. For me." And that's when Olivia broke down. In an emotional confession filled with tears and regret, Olivia revealed that during a short-lived separation from Dante's father Sonny Corinthos, she'd had a one-night stand with someone from her past. At the time, she believed it was inconsequential. She was lonely. She never told anyone. And weeks later, she discovered she was pregnant. She assumed it was Dante's.
So did Dante.
But now, with the DNA results, that lie could no longer hold. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she sobbed. "I thought it was over. I thought it didn't matter." "Who was it, Ma?" Dante asked. "Who is Joe's father?" Olivia hesitated. Then she whispered the name. Johnny Zachara. The revelation hit like a bomb. Johnny Zachara, the former mob prince, dangerous and charismatic, long thought to be out of the picture. He had fled Port Charles years ago after a final series of crimes and betrayals, leaving behind chaos and broken relationships. Dante was stunned. Olivia's secret tryst had linked his son, to the Zachara crime family. Gio had Zachara blood. What made it even more devastating was that Dante had raised Gio to be a man of integrity, honor, and law. But now, Gio was connected to one of the darkest families in Port Charles history. "I'm not just your uncle anymore," Dante muttered to himself. "I'm your cousin, and Johnny's your father." At first, Dante and Olivia agreed to keep the truth from Gio. "He doesn't need to know," Olivia insisted. "Let him live his life." But Dante couldn't keep the lie going. He remembered what it was like to discover Sonny Corinthos was his father, how much it shook his identity. He wouldn't do that to Gio. He sat Gio down at the Metro Court, quiet, nervous, and told him everything. Gio took it better than expected. He listened. He didn't interrupt. But when it was over, his first words were, "I always felt different from you. Now I know why." He left quietly. Later, he stood alone on the docks, staring out into the harbor. His father was Johnny Zachara, a man he never knew, a man who represented everything he'd sworn to fight against as a cop. The identity crisis began. Gio started skipping training shifts. He stopped talking to Dante. He even disappeared from Olivia's apartment for 2 days. No one knew where he went. Then came another shock. A man was spotted in Canada crossing the border into New York. A facial recognition ping identified him as Johnny Zachara. Sonny got the alert from his own people before the PCPD did. And he was furious. "He better not come near my family." But it was already too late. Johnny had come back for Gio. Jason tracked him down first. They met in an abandoned warehouse near the pier. Jason warned him, "You've got one chance. Say your piece and leave." But Johnny was calm. "I'm not here for revenge. I'm here for my son." Jason relayed the message to Dante, who bristled with fury. He doesn't get to be a father now. He forfeited that a long time ago. But Gio had other ideas. He asked to meet Johnny. Alone. At an old boxing gym, once owned by the Zachara family, Gio met Johnny for the first time. It was tense, emotional. Johnny admitted his mistakes. "I wasn't there. I didn't know. I wouldn't have been a good father back then, anyway. Gio, torn between anger and curiosity, asked the question burning in his gut. Am I like you? Is this who I really am? Johnny's answer surprised him. You're not me. You're better.
You were raised right.
But you've got fire in you. Maybe you got that from me. The two talked for hours.
But Gio didn't tell Dante.
When Dante eventually confronted him, Gio lashed out. I needed to meet him. I needed to see for myself.
You lied to me, Dante.
Mom lied. Everyone did. Johnny's return triggered alarms across Port Charles. Sonny Corinthos called an emergency sit-down with Brick and Jason. If Johnny tries to rebuild the Zacra crew, we take him out. Carly warned Olivia that Johnny's presence would tear her family apart. You think this won't cost you everything? Think again. Anna Devane and the PCPD began surveillance, fearing Johnny's return was a prelude to reactivating old crime networks. But it wasn't just the authorities on high alert. Valentine Cassadine, always watching, saw opportunity. He approached Johnny with a quiet offer, Zacra assets in exchange for loyalty. Johnny didn't answer. But he didn't say no either. Meanwhile, Gio found himself caught between worlds, a falconary by nurture, a Zacra by blood. He started pulling away from the PCPD, stopped showing up to Corinthos family dinners, began working late nights at an old boxing gym. Rumors swirled that he was asking questions about his grandfather, Anthony Zacra. One night, Dante found Gio and Johnny at the gym, alone, training. He stormed in, badge flashing. This ends now. Johnny raised his hands. I'm not doing anything illegal. Just talking to my son. Dante turned to Gio. You don't need him. You've got me. You've got your family. Gio didn't respond. That's when Johnny said something dangerous. He deserves to know all sides of himself, even the ones you're afraid of. Dante snapped. He lunged. The two men came to blows, raw, furious, emotional. Gio pulled them apart, but the damage was done. After the fight, Gio looked at both men. You're both wrong. I'm not just your son, Johnny. I'm not just your nephew, Dante. I'm me, and I'm going to figure out who that is. He walked out. In the weeks that followed, Gio requested a leave of absence from the PCPD. He moved into a loft on the edge of Port Charles alone. He began investigating Zacra Enterprises, trying to trace the legal and illegal remnants. He reached out to Alexis Davis, asking for mentorship in law, seeking truth instead of chaos. He asked Michael Corinthos for a position at YLQ, not because of who I'm related to, but because of what I can offer. Dante watched from a distance, heartbroken but proud. Johnny disappeared again, this time with no forwarding address. And Olivia? She sat at her kitchen table, staring at old photos. One of Dante holding baby Gio. One of Johnny Zacra in his younger years. She whispered to herself, please don't let my sins break them. Gio Falconeri Zacra stands at the edge of two legacies, the law and the mob, light and shadow. Who he becomes next could change Port Charles forever.